Good morning. Hello. So my name's BK. This is, thank you for the waves. Hello. This is Foundations, 11:30. So we're going to be together for an hour today. So, you know what? Everyone can bend their knees and take their feet flat. You're going to take them as wide as the mat and just have your knees knocking together. So just creating a little bit of space in the pelvic region, kind of decongesting the sacrum here, and breathing. So starting with a kind of gentle, natural breath, whatever's coming naturally to you. And then we're going to kind of build from there. So before we do, let's find a neutral pelvis. So we're going to do so by just first lifting the low back away from the ground, arching the spine. And then on the exhale, press the low back into the ground, flexing the core muscles. And then inhale, low back away from the ground. Exhale, press the low back into the ground. All right, so that's the extension and flexion. Find somewhere in between those 2 points. So really tapping into your body to find your neutral pelvis. And we're really going to tap into the pelvic region today. So the hips are going to be heavily attended to. So just beginning to draw your psychic attention to that area. So maybe even tensing and releasing those muscles down in the pelvic region, the low belly. Just tuning in. So I'm wearing orange today, not just for Halloween, but also because we're going to be working on the hips. And Svadhisthana, the second chakra, is associated with the color orange. So what else is associated with that second chakra is connection to other. So this is the chakra where we start to integrate others into our lives. It's a relationship. So I've been using these Saturday classes kind of as like this mountain debrief where if some of you are new, I've been hiking a couple mountains every Friday up in the White Mountains in New Hampshire. My partner and we're looking to do the New England 67 or 68, forgot how many there actually are, but there are 48 in New Hampshire, and so we're making our way through. Every Thursday we drive up and spend the night and then hike all Friday. So this past Friday, yesterday, we did 2 mountains, Garfield and Galehead, and it was an absolutely gorgeous day. After a couple weeks of just cloudy weather where we'd get to the tops of these peaks and just kind of be like, all right, guess we'll just head right back down. Instead, we peaked this morning or yesterday morning, and it was just this 360 view of amazing mountains, the White Mountains. It was incredible. And that being said, it was all the conditions were right for the most perfect hike, right? Um, and I found myself deep in a fog of my own mind. So we've all been there, right? Something comes up, and the sticky fingers of our attention grab on. So I don't know if you guys ever got those little kind of treats that you get at the dentist. You go to the dentist. I one time got this little sticky hand, and you kind of stick it to the wall, and then it snaps back, and you stick to the wall. So that's kind of like our attention. We find something, stick to it, and it kind of grabs hold. So for the first hour or two of my hike, I was inundated with these emotions and thoughts, feeling the heaviness of my heart, like we all do. Navigating our own worlds we are navigating and figuring out ways to hold big emotions in our hearts while maintaining our responsibilities and also growing. We're doing a lot in life. And so I was in my head, right? Walking along, eyes to the ground, solid 2 hours. We get to this opening, and the sun is shining, and there's a little hut, and there's a man there. And I just immediately got pulled out of this mental fog and kind of looked at this guy and was like, "Hi, good to see you." A little bit of backstory. I love seeing people on the trail. It makes me very excited. I just love saying hi. And people are always very welcoming. They're all coming from their own journeys. And I think having had such a thick journey yesterday, I really realized we are all the star of our own show until we meet one another in relationship and we find this common ground of being, looking into one another's eyes. It's like an escape from the heavy dream we live. And so these Saturdays have become sort of this escape where I get to be with you guys get to be with me, and we're all here together. Eyes up, unclouded in our minds. Take a big breath into the idea of being here in community. Filling up the breath. Exhaling all the way out. So beautiful. Again, inhale, fill the low belly. Exhale, sigh it out. One more time, inhale. And exhale it out. Heel toe your feet, hips width distance, knees pointing directly up towards the ceiling. Draw your right knee in towards your chest and wrap your fingers around your right shin. Start to lengthen your left leg long on the mat. And we're just going to pause here for a moment. So noticing any tightness that arises in the right side groin, breathing into that space. So tapping into those muscles of the pelvic region, releasing on the inhale as you draw that breath all the way down, down, down. And then on the exhale, contracting those low belly muscles to release the breath all the way out. Okay. Grab your right kneecap with your right hand, and then you're just going to start making circles with your right knee. So you can rest your left hand over top your left hip, just to heavy that side down. And we're starting with small circles, just in one direction, and gradually growing those circles. So in order to grow the circle, we are going to have to both engage our muscles and release. So go nice and slow. Use your awareness to navigate this exploration. And then go the opposite direction, finding your full range of motion. And then we'll find stillness in that right knee. Bend your left knee, sole of the left foot flat on the earth. You'll cross your right ankle over top your left knee and just pause here. So start to lengthen the right knee towards the top of the mat, flexing your right toes towards your shin. Beautiful. All right. Now locate your hip points, so those two bony landmarks at your low belly. Start to tighten that musculature in between those two landmarks. So hugging those muscles back towards your spine as you press the low back into the ground. You're going to lift the left foot up. Okay, so we're in our figure four. We're going to keep our hands out of the equation today. So you can press your palms down on the ground on either side of your body. And then the work here is just pressing the low back into the ground, hugging your hip points up towards your low ribs. Okay, keep all of that. And then you're drawing this left knee in towards your chest, lengthening the right knee towards the top of the mat. Taking some full breaths here. So it's a lot. We're working on a lot. Engaging, stretching, breathing. Tap into your body, your awareness. Find that rhythm. And then release the left foot down, right foot down. Hug the left knee in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your left shin. So just interlacing fingers. And then starting to straighten that right leg towards the top of the mat. Taking about 2 full breaths here, releasing the pelvic wall muscles. Finding that full breath. And then release your right hand to your hip, your right hip. And then take the left hand over top your left kneecap and start to make those circles in one direction. You can start nice and small. Slowly finding your full range of motion, just greasing up that left hip. And then go the opposite direction. Going nice and slow, like you're exploring that left hip, using your awareness to guide you. And find stillness in that left knee. Start to bend the right knee, sole of the right foot flat on the earth. Cross your left ankle over top your right knee and pause. So we're pulling the left toes towards the left shin. And then just reach the left knee towards the top of the mat. You can press your palms down on either side of your body. We're going to start to engage that musculature in between the hip points, drawing it down towards the belly, or down towards the back, pressing the low back into the ground. Lift your right foot up. Okay, beautiful job. Keep pressing the palms into the ground, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then the work here is drawing this right knee in towards your chest as you reach the left knee towards the top of the mat. Flexing all 10 toes back towards your shins and breathing. Finding that full breath. And uncross the legs, hug both knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins and just rock from side to side. A little release of the low back. And then we're either rocking all the way to one side, pressing up and through to tabletop, or rocking back and forth on your mat, rolling all the way over your ankles and through to tabletop. Cool. All right, so our wrist creases are going to be parallel to the top of the mat. Fingers are going to be spread really nice and wide. You're rooting down your base knuckles. And then make sure your knees are directly under your hip points. Your shins are going to be tracking back directly behind your knees. Okay, press through your palms, melt your chest through your shoulders. Tilt the sits bones up towards the sky. You can tuck your toes here. And then look up, inhaling. Exhale, untuck the toes, round the spine, hugging the belly up towards the back. Press through the palms. Inhale, arch. Looking up, cow pose. Exhale, untuck the toes, round the spine. And just taking 2 more of those on your breath, so going really nice and slow, exploring that full extension and flexion of the spine. And then after your last round, just find a neutral spine. So somewhere in between that extension and flexion, grab a block. So we're going to take our block on highest height in between our thighs. So squeeze that block together. You can untuck your toes for now. We're going to start with a cat spine. So squeezing that block like crazy, we're going to tune into those hip points and the musculature in between. So hug the hip points towards one another as that musculature in between lifts up towards your back. Press into your palms, find your cat spine. Squeeze the block like crazy. So you're closing those hip points. And then on your next inhale, melt your chest through your shoulders. Keep the block really tight in between the thighs. And then exhale again for your cat spine, squeezing the block. Notice the transitions. Squeeze even harder on the transitions. So inhaling, transition to your cow pose, arching the spine. Exhale, squeeze as you round. Hug the belly up towards the back. One more time. Inhaling, squeezing your block, melting your chest through your shoulders. Exhale, untuck, round. Okay. Tuck your toes. Walk your hands a little bit forward. And we're going to lift up to top of a push-up. All right. So squeezing that block like crazy. We're internally rotating our thighs, so turning the inside edges of the thighs up towards the ceiling behind you. Keep that, hug the belly up towards the back, and we're going to stay here for 3 breaths, feeling those hip points closing towards one another. Option to drop knees at any point. And release the knees, untuck the toes, walk your hands back, grab your block, take it off towards the top of your mat. And then we'll place our palms back down, tuck your toes, and press the hips up and back to down dog. Just pedaling out the heels, one heel down to the ground and the other, waking up the backs of the legs, hamstrings and calves. And then on your next exhale, walk your feet towards the top of your mat. Find your blocks. Place them at the top of your mat, shoulder width distance. So they can either be on lowest, middle, or highest height. That's completely up to you and what your hamstrings are doing today. So big breath in. Find your feet hips width distance parallel. Lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, fold, crown of the head reaches for the ground. Inhale, press through your feet, arms rise up. Exhale, hands by your side, Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold, hands to blocks or ground. Inhale, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, fold, crown of the head reaches for the earth. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, hands by your side. So we're going to do 2 more of those. These are sun breaths. So they're a really great way to start incorporating and kind of integrating breath with movement. So being really intentional here as we inhale, arms rise up, fill up with breath. Exhale, forward fold. Release the breath all the way. Inhale, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands by your side. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands by your side, Tadasana. All right, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, plant palms, step back, top of a push-up. So right foot, right foot. Inhale, shoulders forward of your wrists. Exhale, option to drop knees, lowering through your chaturanga. Inhaling to your cobra, keeping it low. Exhale, press back, down dog. So taking 3 breaths in our down dog, just reconnecting with that rhythm. And then walk your feet towards your hands at the bottom of your exhale. Finding your blocks. Inhale, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, fold. Crown of the head reaches for the ground. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, hands by your side, Tadasana. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the low belly, upper back, spine is long. Exhale, fold, hands to the ground, step back, top of a push-up. Big breath in to shift your shoulders forward of your wrists. Exhale, option to drop knees as we lower through our chaturanga. Inhale, release the pelvis down, find your cobra pose. Exhale, back, down dog, 3 breaths. Bottom of your third exhale, make your way towards the top of your mat, finding your blocks. Inhaling for the lift and lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands by your side. One more time, inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold, plant palms, step back, top of a push-up. Big breath in, shoulders forward of your wrists. Exhale, lower through your chaturanga. Inhale, pull through to your cobra. Exhale, press back, down dog. So I want you to notice where your mind is right now. Are you in the narrative, the movie where you star the show? Notice where the movie's going right now. How can you bring it more into presence, more into this moment? And bottom of your next exhale, walk your feet towards your hands. Finding blocks, inhale, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands by your side. Okay, inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, plant palms. Step your left foot back only. So finding a low lunge towards the top of your mat. Always option for hands down on blocks. So big breath in to lift the chest away from the ground. Wrap the heads of the shoulders back. On the exhale, wrap this right hip back, left hip forward. Big breath in, reach long through the crown of the head. And exhale, drop the back knee. Keep the back toes tucked. We're going to lift our blocks up to highest height. And just start to straighten your right leg for runner's stretch. So we're staying high on highest height for a reason. I just want to give us as much space as possible. Always option to have 2 blocks on the inside of your right leg if that's more comfortable. We're going to start with blocks framing that right foot though. Unless you really want 2 blocks down. Inhale, lift the heads of the shoulders away from the ground. And then on the exhale, keep the extension of the spine. Wrap the right hip back. Pull the right toes towards your shin. Okay. Keep all of that, and now fold down. Crown of the head reaching for your right toes. As you fold, keep the heads of the shoulders pulling away from the ground by engaging the upper back. So squeezing the tips of the shoulder blades together. And we're just here. Yeah, runner's stretch. Welcome to it today. So we're going to move both our blocks towards the outside of our right leg. Option to have a blanket underneath the left knee, by the way, so you can always just take a moment to pause and adjust. Shift that blanket underneath the left knee if you're experiencing any pain. We're going to inhale, press into the blocks on the outside of the right leg, reach the chest through the shoulders, and then on the exhale, wrap that right hip back, keep the right toes flexing towards the shin, and fold, just a micro hinge. Doesn't need to be a big fold. Just reaching the heart towards the right edge of the mat. And see if you can start to engage that inner right thigh, turning the right toes down towards the midline of the mat. All right, 2 blocks down on the inside of your right leg. We're going to externally rotate the hips, so turn the entire leg, toes included, towards the right side of the mat. Inhale the heart through the shoulders. Exhale, hinge down. Continue wrapping that right hip back, flexing the right toes, breathing nice and full. Final breath in. And then exhale, start to bend into your right knee as you walk your blocks towards the top of the mat. You can place them down. 2 palms will press on the inside of your right leg. We're going to keep this back knee down for now. You can untuck the back toes. We're just finding our lizard lunge. So option to stay high up on palms or lower down to forearms. For this first lizard lunge, we're going to be focusing on pressing down through the inside edge of your front foot and hugging that front knee in towards your midline. So it's a gentle tugging forward of this left knee that helps get sensation to the top of the left thigh. Breathing into that space. And then rising back up to your palms. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Take a pause here as you inhale, shift the left hand over towards the right, and then exhale, slide your left foot forward outside your left hand. So we're going to keep this squat a little bit more upright today. So bending just gently into the knees, making sure your knees are tracking over your second big toes. So keep the outer hips nice and engaged. Big breath in here, reach through the chest forward. And on the exhale, squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades together. Okay, big breath in. Exhale, stand tall, Tadasana. Heel toe the feet back hip width distance and parallel. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold, hands down to blocks. Inhale, lift the heart forward. Exhale, plant palms, step your right foot back only. So option for blocks in this low lunge. Inhaling the heart forward, reaching long through the crown of the head. And on the exhale, stay here. Wrap this left hip back, right hip forward. Cool. Big breath in. Exhale, drop the back knee. Keep the back toes tucked as you take your blocks to highest height and then straighten this left leg long towards the top of the mat. So finding your runner's lunge, big breath in to find finger tops. Reach the heart forward. Keep that length in the spine as you pull the left toes towards the shin and wrap the left hip back. All right, keep that and fold down. Crown of the head reaching for the toes. Tuning into the back of the left leg, seeing how it's doing, starting that dialogue. It doesn't like it. Okay. So then we find the breath, right? Even more. That is when we use that tool of the breath, right? To talk to those muscles. Let them know it's okay to relax. You're safe. You can find that deep breath. And then walk both blocks outside your left leg. So working on internal rotation here. The rotation is coming from the upper left thigh. We're turning everything in towards the midline of our mat, so engaging that whole inner leg. Inhale the heart through the shoulders as you reach the chest towards the top left corner of the mat. And then exhale, hinge. Just a micro hinge, nothing crazy. And then breathing here. Beautiful breath. And now both blocks on the inside of that right leg, left leg. And then external rotation of this left hip. So turn the whole leg out towards the left long edge. Big breath in to pull your chest through your shoulders. And then on your exhale, just hinging down any amount. Keeping the left toes flexing towards the left shin, wrapping that left hip back. And then start to bend into your left knee. Walk your blocks back towards the top of the mat. 2 palms pressed down on the inside of your left foot. Keep the back knee down for now. You can stay high up on palms in your lizard lunge or lower down to forearms, either directly on the ground or on top of a block. So again, for this first lizard lunge, just working on rooting down through the inside edge of your left foot, hugging that left knee in towards your midline. It's a slight dragging forward motion of this right knee to get sensation to the top of the right thigh. And then just breathing into that space. And then we'll make our way back to our palms if you're not already there, removing the block if you used it. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Big breath in to reach your heart through your shoulders. And then on the exhale, slide your right hand closer to your left, reach your right foot outside your right hand, and finding that Malasana squat, maybe a little lower this time. So if you experience any congestion in the knees, stay upright. Everyone else, we can lower down, releasing the tailbone towards the earth and then lengthening the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. As we do that, we're pulling the shoulder blades towards one another, so squeezing the upper back, pressing the elbows into the knees, sitting up nice and tall. Beautiful, Carl. Love to see it. Working hard. Big breath in. Exhale, hands down to blocks or ground as you straighten your legs, heel toe your feet back, hips width distance parallel. Inhale, lift and lengthen the heart forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, arms reach. Exhale, hands by your side, Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands down, forward fold. Inhale, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, plant palms, step your left foot back only. Okay, grab your blanket. So make sure that blanket is underneath your left knee as you lower it down. We're going to be on this left knee just a little bit. And then rising the torso up perpendicular with the ground, we'll take our hands to our hips. Okay, so really finding your hands on your hips, tap into that part of your body. We're going to do the same thing as in the beginning, so kind of finding that neutral pelvis by exploring the end ranges. So we're going to inhale, tilt the hip bones down towards the ground, arch the spine. On the exhale, pull the hip bones towards the low ribs as you lengthen the tailbone towards the ground. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. One more time. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. And then find someplace in between the two. So that's up to you. You got to be in your body. Find a middle part in between those two. Okay. Bend a little bit more into this right knee. Wrap the right hip back, left hip forward. Rise your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, pull your elbows down in line with your shoulders. Squeeze the bottom tips of the shoulder blades together. Keep that. Notice the rib cage likes to flare out. Hug it in towards your hip points. Big breath in. And then on the exhale, bring your hands down to frame your right foot. We're going to pivot this left shin 45 degrees towards the right. Yeah, so just 45. So reaching for the back right corner of your mat. You're going to tuck your left toes. And then rise up. So with this back leg swinging out, we're now getting into the psoas. So that big muscle that connects the top and bottom half of the body, we're going to get to that really hard to reach muscle. So the work here to do that is not descending the hips. What we're working on is wrapping this right hip back, left hip forward, and squeezing the right heel back towards the left knee. Left knee forward towards the right heel. Everything lifts in and up. Arms rise. Interlace the fingers. And reach around for the base of the skull. Elbows point up towards the ceiling as you take a slight upper back bend, squeezing your legs together. Couple breaths here, nice and full. Draw it down into the low belly, pelvic region. And next, exhale, hands down to frame your right foot. Woo, my right leg is burning. Spin that left shin back around. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Big breath in to reach the heart forward. And exhale, slide the left foot to meet the right. Grab your blocks, forward fold. Inhale for the lift and lengthen forward. Exhale, fold right down, hands to the ground. Step your right foot back, low lunge. Inhale, the heads of the shoulders away from the ground, spine is long. And on the exhale, dropping that back knee, rising up to your Anjaneyasana option for that back toe tucked or untucked. And then you're just taking your hands to your hips. So finding that front knee directly over your front ankle. Wrap the left hip back, right hip forward. Squeeze your left heel back towards your right knee forward towards your left heel. All right. Start to dump the hip points down towards the ground as you arch the spine on the inhale. Exhale, round, closing hip points and low ribs. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. One more time. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. And then find a neutral pelvis, so somewhere in between those two. On the inhale, rise the arms up. Exhale, bring your elbows in line with your shoulders, goal posting the arms. Squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades together. Notice the rib cage. Hug it down towards the hip points. Keep that. Big breath in. Exhale, hands down to frame your left foot. Pivot your right shin towards the back left corner of your mat, keeping those back toes tucked. And then rise up. Okay, again, that psoas stretch. So working on pulling the left hip back, right hip forward, squaring hips towards the top of our mat, just like in Warrior One. Okay, now again, the work is not descending the hips. It's actually lifting everything in and up. So squeezing the left heel back towards the right knee forward towards left heel. Belly is super engaged. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, interlace your fingers. This time take the opposite grip. So up, opposite thumb on top. And then reach around for the base of your skull. Elbows point up towards the ceiling, taking a little upper back bend. Breathing here. Sending the breath down to the pelvic region. One more breath. And then exhale, hands down to frame your left foot. Spin that back shin back around, tuck the toes, lift the back knee. Big breath in, reaching the heads of the shoulders away from the ground. Exhale, step your right foot to meet your left forward fold. Find your blocks. Inhale for the lift and lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, arms reach. Exhale, hands by your side, Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, plant palms, step your left foot back. So if you want to reach around and grab that blanket and just take it off towards the side, you can go ahead and do that. Big breath in to pull the heads of the shoulders away from the ground, reach long through the crown of the head. And then on the exhale, plant your left fingertips, right arm rises. Big breath in here, lowering the hips down by reaching the right knee forward, left heel back. Left thigh pulling away from the ground. Final breath in. Exhale, right hand down on the inside of your right foot. Okay, so drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. We're going to turn the front foot out 45 degrees and then roll onto the pinky edge side of your right foot. Cool. So option to stay high up on palms or lower down to forearms, either on the ground or on top of a block. And then it's just this, breathing into the hips, Gently tugging on that left knee forward to get sensation to the top of the left thigh. And then sending the breath to the hips. Oh, yeah, sure. And then just replanting that right foot back down. Hug the right knee back in towards your chest. Take your palms down to the ground on the inside of your right foot. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Spin the back heel down so the pinky edge side of your foot is parallel with the back of the mat, and walk your hands towards the front left corner, coming into your warrior dog. So you've got down dog arms, warrior 2 legs. You're bending deeply into this right knee, widening the right knee towards the right, and wrapping the right hip back. Always option for blocks underneath the palms, breathing into the hips. And then start to walk your hands over towards the left long edge of your mat. Right toes will swing with you for your wide-legged fold. Just a big breath in here. And then on the exhale, turning the left toes towards the back of the mat, 45 degrees. Bend into that left knee. Find Skandasana back of your mat. Right toes turn up towards the ceiling. Yeah. So you want your left knee to be tracking over your second big toe. You can keep your palms pressing down into the ground. We're here for 2 breaths, pressing the heels down and squeezing them towards one another. And then straighten the left leg. Find your wide-legged fold. All 10 toes reaching for the long left edge of your mat. Inhale, press into your fingertips to lift the low belly, upper back. See if you can get your hips in line with your ankles. Keep that, and then fold back down. Crown of the head reaching for the earth. You can nod your head yes, shake your head no, just inviting some space between the vertebrae of the cervical spine. And then next, inhale, high up on fingertips, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, take your hands to your hips and rise all the way up to standing. All right, turn your right toes towards the top of the mat. Take your arms to a T. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears, squeezing the bottom tips of the shoulder blades together. And then bend into that right knee. So make sure your front knee is tracking over your second big toe, always widening that right knee towards the right. Big breath in, shoulders stacked over your hips. And then on the exhale, slide your left hand down your left leg, flip the right palm. Just 2 breaths into the right side body, nice and full. Second exhale, straighten that front leg, keep the upper body. 2 breaths into the right side body again. And second exhale, find your warrior 2 again, bending into that right knee. Inhale. Exhale, side angle, right elbow over top your right thigh. Sweep that left arm up and over your left ear. So be really mindful of what your right elbow and shoulder are doing right now. You're pressing into that right elbow a lot to lift up and out of that right shoulder socket. Cool. Big breath in. On the exhale, frame your hands around your front foot. Big breath in, reach the shoulders forward, all 10 toes facing the top edge of your mat. And then exhale, slide your left foot to meet your right. Find blocks. Inhale for the lift. Exhale, fold, plant palms, right foot steps back. Low lunge. All right. So wrapping the left hip back, right hip forward. Big breath in to reach through the crown of the head. And on the exhale, plant your right fingertips, left arm rises. Taking 2 breaths in this lunge twist. Left knee reaching forward, right heel reaching back. Turning from the mid-back, heart reaching for the sky. Second exhale, left hand down on the inside of your left foot. Drop the back knee. Untuck the back toes. Turn the front toes out 45 degrees and roll onto the pinky edge side of that front foot. All right, option to stay high up on palms or lower down to your forearms, either on the ground or on top of a block. So again, just a gentle tugging forward of that back knee, getting sensation to the top of the back thigh. And then making your way back up to your palms, replant that left foot down flat. Make sure the pinky edge side of that front foot is parallel to the side of your mat. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then pivot that back heel down, pinky edge side parallel to the back edge of your mat. Walk your hands towards the front right corner, warrior dog. So down dog arms, warrior two legs. You're pressing into that front foot a lot to wrap that front hip back. A little kick in your back knee, lifting that back inner arch. One more round of breath, nice and full into the hips. And on your exhale, walking your hands over towards the right long edge of your mat. Left toes will turn with you. Inhale, high up on fingertips, lift the low belly, upper back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, high up on fingertips. Exhale, take your hands to your hips, rise all the way up to standing. Turn your left toes towards the top of your mat. Extend your arms in opposite directions. So you're reaching through the fingertips, but the shoulder blades are drawing towards one another. Keep the rib cage in and down, and then start to bend into this left knee. Big breath in, find your shoulders stacked over your hips. And then on the exhale, just peaceful, sliding the right hand down the right leg, flipping the left palm. 2 breaths into the left side body. And then keeping the upper body, straighten that front leg. 2 breaths in. Second exhale, bring your arms back to a T, bend into that left knee, find your warrior two. Inhaling here. Exhale, side angle, left elbow over top your left thigh, sweep the right arm up and over your right ear, turning your heart up towards the ceiling. Deep bend in that front knee. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more breath in. And exhale, hands down to frame your left foot. Turn all 10 toes forward, low lunge, top of your mat. Inhale, lift the heart forward. What's that? Oh, Skandasana, you're right. You're so right. All right, everyone, want to do a... Yeah, I know. Who loves Skandasana? We're going to flip it around. Ready? Transition all the way from the front to the back of the mat, turning in, right toes turn out towards the back of the mat, 45, bending into that right knee. All right, left toes turn up towards the ceiling. And then you're pressing your heels down, squeezing them towards one another, keeping palms pressing down into the ground. Really tuning into the outer hips as you widen that right knee over your second big toe. One more really full breath here. Thank you, Vicky. Exhale, sigh it out. Find your wide-legged fold, and then low lunge all the way to the top of the mat. Okay. All right, big breath in. Reach the heads of the shoulders away from the ground. Exhale, slide your right foot forward to meet your left. Grab your blocks. Inhale for the lift and lengthen forward. Exhale for the fold. Inhale, rise up, arms reach. Exhale, hands by your side, Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant palms, step back, top of a push-up. So option to skip the chaturanga here and go right to down dog, or else we're inhaling the heart forward. Exhale, lower through your chaturanga, option to drop knees. Inhale, lower the pelvis down, reach the chest forward. Exhale, press back, down dog. So right leg reaches nice and high on the inhale, bend the knee, open the hip.
So stacking that right hip over your left, you're engaging the outer right hip like crazy to reach that right knee up towards the ceiling. One more round of breath as you lower that right shoulder in line with your left. And then on your next exhale, reaching the right knee for your right wrist, finding pigeon pose. Right shin comes on an angle as you shimmy the left leg back and lower down to forearms. Option for a block underneath the forehead. That can be really nice just to release the low back, or excuse me, the neck. And next inhale, rise back up to your palms. Tuck your back toes. Lift your right leg up and back, down dog. On the inhale, left leg rises, bend the knee, open the hip. So stacking your left hip over your right, you're engaging that outer left hip like crazy to point that left knee towards the ceiling. Next exhale, drop your left shoulder in line with your right, and one more round of breath here. On the exhale, left knee towards your left wrist. Take that left shin on an angle and shimmy your right leg back for pigeon pose. Lowering down, option for a block underneath your forehead. So noticing where the story is now. We are all just a collection of all of our awarenesses. Each moment we're aware of something, many things, and that culmination of all of those awarenesses becomes who we are, or at least who we think we are. Big breath in to rise up to your palms. Shift your weight into your left hip and wrap your right leg around. So here is a great time for a bolster or a blanket. So you can grab one, sit yourself on top of it, just giving yourself a little bit of a break, lifting yourself against the ground. So if you've got tighter hips, this will be a lot more comfortable on a prop. We're going to take a really long Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet touching, you're reaching them really far away from the groins. Hi, everyone. It's really good to see you. Right? We're all stuck in these stories, but then when we meet together, we get to just be like, hey, like, welcome back from your dream. We're all here. So big breath in, arms rise. And then on the exhale, reach your heart forward towards the top of the mat. Plant your hands down to grab your ankles. So we're just going to take a tiny little bend in the elbows. Doesn't need to be a deep fold. Gently pressing the feet towards one another to engage the outer hips, reaching the knees for the ground. And then rise yourself back up. Take your feet in a little bit closer. Inhale, reach long through the spine, crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And then on the exhale, keep hold of your ankles as you reach the heart towards the top of the mat. And next inhale, rise back up. So getting your feet even closer last time. So finding your edge really Wiggling into your sits bones, pressing down into your sits bones to lift the spine nice and long, crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Grab your ankles. Start to hinge forward. So it's as if you're trying to stamp your heart in front of your feet on the mat. So keeping that length in the spine, drawing the heads of the shoulders away from the ground. And then we'll inhale, rise back up nice and slow. You can take yourself off of your bolster or prop, whatever you used. Place the bolster off towards the side. We'll use that one last time in the end. And then grab a block. We're going to lower all the way down to our backs. And then you're just going to bend your knees. Press into your feet to lift your hips and slide your block widthwise on lowest height underneath your sacrum. Yeah, so that little upside down triangle underneath your low back, that's your sacrum. You're going to place that right on top of the block. All right, now just walk your feet nice and wide, knees knocking together. And it's just this, it's a little sacral reset. So letting the full weight of your body press into the block, keeping knees knocking towards one another, and just finding a really full breath here. So tuning into the muscles of the pelvic region, the hips, the low belly, noticing if you're feeling tension and tightness. See if you can release that as you inhale. You can re-engage that as you exhale, but keep it nice and open and released, relaxed when you're inhaling. So from this point, about 3 more breaths, nice and full. And then heel toe your feet back, hips width distance. Press into your feet to lift the hips, remove the block, place it off towards the side, and release your hips all the way back down. So we're going to draw both knees in towards our chest, wrap your arms around your shins, and just rock from side to side. So a little release of the low back. And then release your arms. Open up your knees. Thread your arms through your knees and reach for the outer edges of your feet, coming into a Nanda Balasana, happy baby pose. So holding on to the outside edges of your feet, you're pulling down on your feet to plug your knees outside your ribs on either side towards the ground. Yeah, if you can't grab your feet, you can absolutely grab your ankles or your shins or behind your knees. And just breathing here. If it feels good to rock from side to side, please go ahead and do so. I love doing that. And then after your next round of breath, just find stillness. Lengthening your tailbone towards the top of the mat. Hug the shoulder blades together. One more round of breath here. On your exhale, close your knees. Reach your legs long towards the top of the mat. Arms by your side. Taking rest. So releasing the breath. Maybe doing a quick body scan, noticing what muscles are still firing up.
So this experience of that brief awakening from the dream reminded me of a word I found a couple years ago. Sonder. It's a noun. The realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own, populated with their own ambitions, friends, routines, worries, and inherited craziness. An epic story that continues invisibly around you like an anthill sprawling deep underground, with elaborate passageways to thousands of other lives that you'll never know existed, in which you may appear only once as an extra sipping coffee in the background, as a blur of traffic passing on the highway, as a lighted window at dusk. Breathe into this space of community where we all, if not just for 1 hour, get to awaken from the dream of us, where we are the star of the show. We're here together. Big breath in, feel it in the low belly, and exhale it out. Again, inhaling. Exhale. So use the breath from this point on to bring yourself back to awareness. Wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe rocking your head from side to side. And then over the next 2 to 3 breaths, just drawing your knees in towards your chest and making your way up to a seated position of your choice. So we'll end with our palms pressing in Anjali Mudra at heart center, taking 2 full breaths together. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bow your chin towards your chest, thumbs to your third eye. Namaste. Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you so much. Sorry about Skandasana. Thanks so much, everyone. What's that? Yeah. True, I know. You guys are keeping watching me. I gotta whip myself into shape. Sonder, S-O-N-D-E-R.